Whether you are aware of it or not, you are unable to be in any other place but here and now. Wherever you are, the here and the now will be the same. You can only live in the now, so planning or worrying about the future is a waste of time, as it will never arrive. What comes is always here and now is a succession of nows one after the other, yet you are constantly residing in the present now. How could you possibly be concerned about something that doesn't exist? Because of concerns like these over the future, there is a particular proverb that is translated into all of the languages of the globe, and it says, "Man continues to desire planning and worrying about the future, and God continues to disappoint him." You are planting the seeds of failure in others by the very nature of your planning. When you spend a lot of time worrying about the future, you end up squandering the now. And over time, worrying about the future becomes into something that comes naturally to you. Therefore, the future will arrive as the present when it arrives. And because you are in the habit of fretting about the future, you will spend that time as well in worrying about the future. You will spend the rest of your life preoccupied with thoughts about the future. You won't give up until the moment death takes away every opportunity for the future. Live your life to the fullest and most deeply as possible right now, because the next moment will be created out of this moment. And if you have lived this moment to the fullest, and with the utmost delight, you can be assured that the next moment will bring you even more blessings and even more happiness. Put an end to your anxious thoughts about the future. You will be there if tomorrow comes, and if you know how to live, especially if you know how to live joyfully. Tomorrow will be full of joy for you as well, if you know how to live. It is the unhappy man who is the one who makes plans for the future because his present is so unhappy that he wants to avoid it, and he does not want to see it. He had optimistic thoughts regarding the good times that are to come tomorrow. He has zero ability to turn this bad situation into a positive one at this point in time. Your entire life will be taken out of your control if you have a long-standing practice of putting things off till the future and postponing living for the future. Being completely present in the here and now at all times is impossible to do in any other way. This is the sole option available to you. You cannot be at any other location. Make an effort to participate in tomorrow. Nobody has been successful up to this point, and you certainly won't be in the next minute. Do you believe it is possible to leap out of the present and reach into the future, even if you are making preparations for the future? This location also does that action at the moment. Even though you are concerned about the future, that concern is also being carried out in this same moment. You are unable to be any place else regardless of what you do, since existence only permits the space of here and now. There is no way to travel either into the past or into the future because time travel is impossible. The present is never anything other than what you hold in your hands. In point of fact, the present is the only time you have. And now is such a significant word because it encompasses your entire existence, from the moment you are born to the moment you pass away. But there is no time like the present, and this is the only available space. You are unable to be in any location other than here. Wherever you go, that location will turn into here. Just make sure you're on the same page about it. If not, life will continue to pass you by like water. You will soon have nothing in your hands, and facing death with nothing in your hands is a complete and utter failure. Your final moments should be filled with happiness, silence, and peace. You must approach death with your hands brimming with ecstasy. In that ecstasy, death itself will perish. You will never perish. What you are doing right now will go on forever and forever. The result of not speaking up is that you can relax and take pleasure in today without being concerned about the future. There is no such thing as tomorrow. You just cannot let your worries for tomorrow go as long as there is one. It is a waste of time to worry about tomorrow because it will never come. And there is no such thing as yesterday. The only thing we can control is this very minute, right now and right now. And this is a miraculous experience, because if there is no yesterday and there is no tomorrow, and if right now you remain silent, then all of your concern vanishes. There is a cessation of all imagining, dreaming, and projecting, and it is not a requirement that you appreciate this moment. However, you are never in this place, rather, you are always in another. You are never in the here and now. You are always in the past or the future. Otherwise, everything is present except for you. Be fully present in the now, and then see what unfolds next. The very essence of what it is to be ignorant of the mind is to be absent from the now and now. The mind is perpetually focused on the past or the future. It is never in the here and now. Because the mind requires thought, it is impossible for it to exist in the current moment, because there is no opportunity for thought in the here and now. The fundamental nature of the mind precludes this possibility. You are required to watch, you are required to listen, and you are required to be present. Nevertheless, you are not permitted to think. Because the present is so constrained, there is little room for reflection on the past or the future. If you believe that this indicates that the moment has already passed, then you are incorrect. You may also consider that if it has not arrived yet, it is still in the future. For pondering, there must be adequate space. Due to the fact that thinking requires physical space much like walking, you are able to go into the future. You are able to travel back in time, but how can you travel through the present? The present is only a moment away. You are the present moment. Both the past and the future are components of time. You are the present. Time is not a component of the present. It in no way constitutes a component of time, and it is not a component of time. The past and the future are not in your control. Only the present is. It is impossible for the mind to be in the present. If you are able to be completely present at this moment, your mind will go. Mind is capable of having desires and having dreams. It can move to the very beginning or the end of the world. But it cannot be here and now because it is impossible for it. The essence of ignorance is simply a lack of awareness of this, which leads to subsequent preoccupation with events that have already passed and over which one has no control. There is nothing that can be done. Despite the fact that it is no longer there, you continue to fret over it, and by doing so, you squander your time. Alternatively, you daydream about the future and have aspirations for it. The future will never come because it will never come. Whatever occurs is always the present, and the present is incomparably apart from your hopes and your fantasies. Because of this, nothing that you want, dream about, imagine, prepare for, or worry about ever comes true. But it's a waste of your time. Your efforts are being wasted away in the middle of nowhere, with no end result and no progress made. And then death comes knocking at your door, but remember that death never comes knocking in the past. Death never comes knocking in the future. Death only comes knocking in the present. You can't say that to someone's grave tomorrow. Both death and life are knocking on our door in the here and now. Everything that is always knocks on the door of the present, while everything that is not always belongs to either the past or the future. Your mind is a fictitious thing due to the fact that it never interferes with the present. Let this be the criterion by which we judge the reality of things. Whatever it is, always is, and always will be here and now. Whatever is not, never was, and never will be a part of the present. Put away anything that has no bearing on the here and now, and if you go into the now and now, a new dimension will open up for you, the dimension of eternity.